Welcome to another episode of Whiskies. So, on this week's episode, we're going to discuss 10 bottles that I have to keep on my bar. 10 bottles. Now, there's a reason for each one. The last one is the most important, but the rest of them are in no particular order. And each one has its own reason why I keep it on my bar. And we'll get into that shortly. So, let's go ahead and get into the first one. So, the very first one we're going to say is the Mellow Corn from Heaven Hill. You know, a lot of times when you see this bottle at the liquor store, you pass it up. A lot of people don't know how delicious this really is. It's very simple. Don't get me wrong. It's a very simple whiskey. It's sweet forward. I think it's 80% corn. So you're going to get a lot of those sweet notes, but it's aged in used Heaven Hill barrels. So that's why it's called a straight corn whiskey. It's not a bourbon. If it was aged in new charred oak barrels, then it would be considered a bourbon. But because of that, it's considered a whiskey. The result of that is it becomes real mellow. It's real smooth, but it's very sweet. You get a lot of vanilla in this one. It's just come really sugar forward. No really complexity to it. Just a very, very delicious sip, especially once it opens up. This is why I keep it on my bar top, especially those who want to give it a try. And a lot of people will be surprised how delicious it is. It is a corn forward whiskey. So that's the number one on my that I have to keep on my bar. Now let's just grab another bottle down here. This one, as you can see, I need to refill it. This is Buffalo Trace. But this one in particular was a store pick. But anything coming out of this particular bourbon, whether it's a store pick or a regular standard Buffalo Trace, I have to keep it on my bar. So I got to replenish this one again because it's just very, very delicious, very smooth, subtle. You get a lot of subtle butterscotch in there, vanilla caramel. It's very complex, and it has that traditional Buffalo Trace flavor note that you're going to get in there. Sometimes you get a little fruit notes. So it's just really, really good. And if you can get a store pick, it just elevates it even more. So this is the second bottle, the bottle that I must keep on my bar top. Buffalo Trace whiskey. All right, so moving right along. Now, a lot of you probably already know the Maker's Mark 101 is an incredible pour. This one is very delicious. It has, from what I remember, as you can see, it's my second bottle of this. But once I get lower, a little bit lower than this one, I'm going to get another one. It's just really good. It's just cinnamon forward. It's creamy. It's rich. It's delicious. Simple. It's got a little heat to it because of those little spices that kick through. But it's very good. It's a must. You got to have Maker Marks 101 on your bar, at least to me. And so this will be replenished as soon as it gets lower. All right, so moving right along. Our next one is 1792 small batch. This one is a must replenish. It makes incredible cocktails. As you can see, I'm gone. I believe I gifted the other bottle that I had to a friend of mine, which I would love to have on the show, but he has a G14 classified assignment.
Your particular assignment is considered G14 classified. Now, why don't you and I take a walk and I'll fill you in.
So we don't know if we'd be able to have him on the show because of his assignment he has. But if he becomes available, I would love to have him on the show because he's a bourbon enthusiast as well. But this one in particular is a must-have on your bar because of what it does to cocktails. Everything that you get from a traditional bourbon, it comes through in those cocktails, especially making Manhattans or old fashions or other cocktails as well. It's just an incredible mixer. So the reason why I have this one, and I have to keep replenishing it because it is an incredible mixer and it's reasonably priced at 30-something bucks. So a must-have on my bar. All right. So moving right along. You got to have Early Times bottled in bond. I mean, this thing right here is just absolutely incredible. I believe we did one on 10 bottles that drink way above their price point. And I believe I put this one in it because if you were to blind these, you would often put this in a higher tier because it just is really rich in flavor. It has some oak notes that you normally get in older whiskeys. So although it says it aged at least 4 years, I want to say Heaven Hill bottled in bond probably at least 7 years it's aged. I don't know for sure. I'll do some research on that one. And the reason why I say that is because you get a lot of those older notes in it. It's just absolutely phenomenal. I believe Sazerac bought it, and so I don't know who's distilling it now. I don't know if it's Barton or if it's Buffalo Trace, but this is in the Sazerac family, and they're doing an incredible job. And you just got to keep it on your bar. It's a must-have. It's truly delicious. Write down in the comments if you agree with anything or disagree with anything I said on this list. That's totally fine. Do you agree this is probably one of the best mixers outside of maybe I'll say the Wild Turkey 101 is an incredible mixer too as well. But that Barton, that 1792 is an incredible mixer. All right, so we moving right along. Now this one you probably laugh at me, but I have to keep it on my bar for various reasons. Well, because it's probably the first bourbon. Well, technically it is a bourbon, but it's a Tennessee whiskey. But it's the first bourbon that I've ever had. And then also for those who are not really bourbon drinkers and you want to make a cocktail for them, you can reach to Jack Daniels and you can make some cocktails in it. And it comes through too as well. And then they will enjoy it. It's a good whiskey, and you don't want to necessarily use some bottles on people who don't really appreciate whiskey like that. But you want to make a cocktail because you're hospitable, right? But they don't really understand the nuances of different things. So you can just give them something simple, make some cocktails from it, and I'm sure they'll very much appreciate it. So that's why I keep Jack Daniels on my bar at all times. All right, so we're down to the final three. Now, some of you know, and some of you don't know. Man, oh man, have you ever had slow and low rock and rye? A friend of mine's, T-Dub, I call him T-Dub. Tommy put me up on this one. This was some years back. He told me about slow and low. And man, I'm telling you, this stuff is good. And what it is, it's a prohibition cocktail that they used to make back in the prohibition days. And basically, it mentions on here, it said what they would do is they would take straight rye whiskey, a raw honey, navel orange, rock candy, and bitters, and then put it together, let it sit in the glass, and then, of course, pour it off into another glass, and then you have your cocktail. But basically, they did all of that for you in this one. Whoo, is it good? Man, you can make a cocktail out of this. You get you a little lemon or some lime, put some maybe a little extra bitters in there with some simple syrup and throw it on a rock glass. Incredible. So although they say this is a cocktail in the glass, I will say you probably need to make a little bit more. You can either add a half a shot of another whiskey in it and then cocktail it up with a little bit more, or you can just drink it right on the rocks. But it is truly delicious. I have to keep it on my bar. A lot of people love this stuff. It is really, really good. All right, so we're moving on. We get down to our final two whiskeys. Now, these are really the two most important ones. This one, to me, I have to keep Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Bourbon on my bar is because it is absolutely incredible at all times. You usually get the same particular notes. I know each one kind of varies. One comes a little bit sweet forward. A lot of them come a little spicier. But for the most part, you're going to get your butterscotches in this one at a whole another level. You're going to get rich, deep, rich amber type oak that's going to fly through at you. It's barrel proof, usually ranging from like 120 to like almost 140 at times. And so this one I have to keep on my bar for bourbon enthusiasts and those who appreciate barrel strength whiskeys. Man, this stuff right here is absolutely incredible. Generally speaking, you're always going to enjoy it, especially once it opens up. When you get halfway, to me, it just gets even better as it goes down. It's just in a it's one of my favorite pours. If I was to have to say, choose one bourbon that I could only drink from, it probably be Elijah Craig, just right off the top of the brain. So yeah, this is stuff right here is absolutely incredible. Now we're getting to the last one. Now, some of you already probably know what I'm going to pull up. Some of you may not. But this one right here, you have to keep. No, not just me. You have to have one on your bar. It's a talking piece. It is the staple of bourbon. When you see it, when a person recognizes it, they recognize the class that comes with it. And come on, man, you cannot go wrong with the taste of it. We're talking about Blandons. You have to have a bottle of Blandons on your bar. Now, of course, there's higher whiskeys. There's better tasting whiskeys. There's whiskeys that with way more nostalgia to it. But this one in particular meets the cat's eye. It meets it everything. It has the flavors there. The bottle, the design is there. You got the collector's item. Everything about Blanton's is absolutely incredible. I enjoy everything about it. It's one of my favorite whiskeys. If you want something nice, subtle with all of the rich flavor notes that you get from traditional bourbon, Blanton's is incredible. I did have an opportunity to have Blanton straight from the barrel from my buddy's house, and that was on a whole nother level. Although it's extremely hard to find, I'm in the hunt for one of those because it was probably one of the best sips I've ever had. All right, so that'll conclude this episode of Whiskey Eats. And if you disagree with anything that I said here, please write down in the comments. Or if you agree with everything that I said, I would like to hear your take. What are the bottles that you have to have on your bar? Let me know. And we appreciate you watching this episode of Whiskey Eats. And like we always say, please always drink moderately and responsibly. Y'all have a good day. Blandon's, come on, man. Can't go wrong with that.